How you feeling, man?
It's good, man. It's good to be home. Being
long year.
nine,
sure.
yeah, 9 months overseas is no joke. It's no joke, man. So being away from family, being away from your baby, it's hard. So it's good to be home. What about you?
I did the 10-month bid. Feeling good though. Just got back to the crib last week. Fresh off the plane. Ready to get this thing going though.
Let's get it. First podcast. The bucket business is on.
All right, man. Appreciate everybody listening. First episode, very special. Welcome to the Bucket Business Podcast. I'm Skylar Spencer.
I am Xavier Johnson.
And we're just super excited to get this thing rolling. We've been talking about this only for a few months, really. A little background how I wanted to start it. I've been wanting to do a podcast for a while. You know, we deal with a lot of experiences playing overseas. We make up all kind of stories. You know, we all have our own separate little stories, and we felt like we needed a platform to share them on. He actually made a post just a few months ago, actually, that he wanted to start a podcast. And what I hit you up and said, let's do it.
Here we are.
Let's do it. So this thing, it's been in the works for a while, but it kind of hit the ground sprinting. Let's talk a little bit about who we are, where we play, what we done, and just kind of give people a resume so they can understand about a little bit about who they're talking to. So, X, let everybody know about your history real quick.
All right. My history is short and sweet. I'm Xavier Johnson. I am from, I don't know.
You're a little bit from everywhere.
I'm a little bit from everywhere, Born in California, but raised Michigan style, Raised from Detroit. My family's all from Detroit, Michigan, So it's been a life for me. So basketball wise, went to school, started up in Temecula a little bit, played there for 2 years, transferred to Mater Dei in Orange County. That's where I kind of got my momentum going for basketball. Went to Colorado University, Boulder, hooped there for 4 years, was able to play, do my thing, hoop, and I played in the G League for 2 years with the Texas Legends, and this is my second year now overseas in Italy, and next year hoping for big things. I did my part this year, so now it's up to my agent to do his part and get me where I need to be next year. So
wink to the agent.
Yep. Shout out to the agent. Do your job. I do mine. It's good.
Skylar Spencer. I'm from Inglewood, California. I went to Price High School all 4 years.
And we beat them.
They cheated.
We beat them in basketball.
They cheated.
Shout out Mater Dei.
That's a whole different story. Anybody who played Mater Dei from LA, know it get tricky when you play up there.
It gets a little tricky when you play against us.
But anyways, man, went to San Diego State. Shout out my Aztecs. Went there all 4 years. Graduated 2016. Started off my career in Malaysia, Southeast Asia.
Humid.
Very humid.
Ooh.
From there, I went on to play in the G League. I played with the Mad Ants in Fort Wayne, Indiana. Very cold out there for sure. And I spent the last 10 games of the year with the Clippers G League team, the Agua Caliente Clippers. And from there, I played in Venezuela that summer. And bounced from there to Romania. And then I did Lithuania. Then I did Finland in the same year. And I just finished up my most recent year in Belgium. A really good year. Went to the championship all the way till June. A very long season. Almost won MVP. But you know how that goes. Politics. But yeah, man. 5 years of experience. 10 between both of us. Yeah. And yeah, man, we just got a lot of experience, a lot of stories, and we're excited to share them. Let's talk a little bit about what this podcast is going to be about and the things we're going to discuss.
Yeah, so basically, for the first episode, we're going to discuss who we are as people. We are basketball players essentially. Trying to make money for our family and for our young ones and create general wealth or generational wealth. So for the first podcast, we just gonna be discussing our experiences overseas this year. A lot of information about maybe younger guys who are coming up in the game and ready to take their game to the next level as a pro, to know what to expect, because there's levels to it. There's levels to everything. So being able to understand the game and understand, culture, coaches, and everything like that is just going to be what better way to do it than a podcast. So that's what we're here for the first episode, but we're going to get into some real nitty gritty stuff later on.
Yeah, it's a whole lot of topics to talk about. We'll be covering all walks of life. We'll try to give you insight of what it's like to be overseas basketball player and, just share the experiences that we go through, give advice to all athletes, on what to expect, drop some wisdom. We both have enough experience where we feel we could give some value, in the words that we say and the things that we talk about. So,
give some knowledge. It's all about knowledge,
Yeah. So. I just hope everybody, takes note and, you enjoy the things we got to talk about. Let's talk a little bit about last year. We're about this time last year, basically, we were still on quarantine. Yeah. Everything was up in the air. All the seasons were officially canceled. Crazy year. We still recovering. Talk about a little bit about where you were at last year, how things were going, and right before COVID hit. How was that year for you?
So I started off in Bulgaria. I was in Bulgaria for my first year overseas. It was cool, but, it's Bulgaria. No one really knows anything about it. It's cool. It's a good start. So when I'm there, I'm already missing family ASAP, so I'm over there chilling. And then I'm there for like 4 or 5 months, and we started hearing about the pandemic, everybody trying to come home, everything's getting kind of crazy. And I know for me, I was able to catch my last flight out back to the States because they started shutting down all the airports and everything. And I remember thinking, I was like, I'm so excited to go home. I miss the food, I miss my family and everything. Yeah. And then when I got home, it was just so weird because nothing was open. Because I was ready to come home, do a little celebration, do stuff I usually do that's in my comfort zone. So when I was able to come home, I was like stuck in my house. It was just weird. It was super weird for me. So that happened.
Were you having a good year?
Yeah.
Right before COVID happened?
Yeah, I was having a good year. I was in MVP race and everything like that. So it was a great year. Yeah. So and then slide into this year, it was crazy, but let me hear about your experience, how it was in the beginning.
I was in Finland. I had left Lithuania. That's where I started off the year. And I was in Finland since January. And we was playing well. My team actually had only lost one game during that whole stretch. I was in my bag, basically. I was hooping, team was hooping. Right. We were 2 games away from starting playoffs. So, everything was perfect, good situation. Right. And when Trump made that announcement, they basically paused the season the next day, and within 24 hours, it was all over. And, it was tough. It was tough because, it cut the money in half. Right. For those who don't know, the majority of athletes didn't get paid for the whole time overseas. Ours got cut second week of March, so we got up until 2 weeks in March, and that was it. They couldn't give us any money, and a lot of teams didn't have to. That was just the rules. So coming home with only a handful of change, and just being at the crib with no hoops at all, it was weird. Yeah. It was weird because we're used to having some kind of outlet, used to doing our job. You could have never think in a million years the whole world is going to stop. So being at home, basically just being a dad every day, no basketball, outside workouts, kind of felt like I was in jail a little bit, kind of mess with my mental. Right. You start questioning a lot of things about life, and you just feel out your element. Because we've been playing basketball our whole lives. Always have something to look forward to. Always go to a gym. Even when you take a break, you know you're coming right back. And now you in a situation where you're just in limbo. Right. Nobody has an answer to anything. Yeah. So, you know, the whole COVID situation, I would say it really messed me up. You know, but I knew the only thing that made me feel better, I wasn't alone. Right. You know, it wasn't an isolated incident. Literally, everybody in the world had their own little experience with it. So,
yeah, let me speak on that, man. Like, I know for me personally, like, basketball is my outlet to like breathe, like almost like to just like go and just like restart. Like if I'm angry or if I'm sad or if I'm like feeling some type of way, I usually go to the gym, shoot, work out, get a sweat in, and that usually like clears my head a lot. Yeah. So for me to come home and just be able to just not do what I do, it's just like, it's like you said, like I feel like I'm in prison, like I'm locked up. I was uncomfortable. I was like, you know, things are just different. So I feel you on that for sure. So yeah, it's just different. So we talked about our first pre-COVID. No, we talked about coming into COVID. Now we're gonna talk about our COVID year for basketball, which has been different. It was different for me for sure. I know it's different for you. So tell me how it went for you. Tell me what you had to do, what you had to go through on a daily basis, what changed, what was different.
Well, just coming into the year was interesting. This is kind of obvious, like just like how COVID shut everything down, it really affected the business of basketball. The market was low in money in a lot of places. So, you know, it was already coming over with a weird feeling because I was coming over for a pay cut basically, but I couldn't be mad because of the situation. And man, it was just a lot to deal with mentally. We were getting tested twice a week, basically before every game. They had actually pushed our season back 1 month, and then when I got there, we pushed it back another month. So I was already dealing with that. I had to get my visa before I even got out there, which if anybody's ever tried to get an overseas visa, it's not easy. So that was like a 3-week process. You know, I'm coming out of pocket for all of that. So I'm stressing, you know, like I said, I had low money. So, you know, I'm coming down to, you know, my last bits just to get out there. And when I got out there, it was kind of, I felt like I had this uneasy feeling because now I understood how fragile, you know, my job was. You know, somebody sneezed too many times, they're going to shut down the whole operation. I'm going to be right back at home. So in the beginning, I was definitely nervous, you know, because I didn't feel secure with my job, you know. And the opportunities, they just kept getting cut in half. You know, I was playing in the FIBA Euro Cup, and they cut the guaranteed games in half. So, you know, you're playing on one of the biggest stages, and, you know, you're supposed to have X amount of games, and then they end up putting us in a bubble, and then you get like 3 guaranteed games. So, you know, for one of the biggest reasons I came out there, that opportunity is already chopped down. So it's just, you know, COVID was affecting so many areas for me. And, you know, it was just, you know, it was tough to deal with. But, you know, there's nothing you could do but really adjust and get used to it. How would you say the year was for you?
The year for me was a good year. You know, I was able to, we started a little late. So it was whatever. It wasn't that late, but I was able to, in Sicily, we didn't get any games cut off, but I didn't play any extra leagues or anything like that. So we just played our regular season, but we were able to still play 2 or 3 games a month, or I'm sorry, a week, not a month, 2-3 games a week. So it was good. It was great. But the thing I noticed this year, a lot of people retired basketball. A lot of people like just weren't able to just play basketball because money's not there, or they got this reason or that reason. So it was crazy to just see like your friends just be like, I'm taking the year off. And knowing in the basketball world how that works is just, it's different. Yeah. It's different because it's you take a year off from basketball, it's like any sport, you take a year off, like people gonna forget about you. They're gonna forget about you quick. So you gotta be able to, you know, you gotta get in where you fit in. So for me, I was in Italy. I was in Sicily. I had a beautiful house on the water. I had my car paid for. Nice house by myself, 2-bedroom, overlooking the sea. So it was great. I was in the second league, Italy. So I was able to do my thing and hoop, came out with some good numbers, so nothing to complain about. I ended up getting COVID on my way out, which hurt because, you overseas for 8-9 months, you ready to come home at the end of that. So, and not like seeing everyone else go home and you not being able to go home, it just like, it messes you mentally. So what I did was pick up some books. Because nothing else I can tell you is you have a lot of downtime. You got a lot of downtime when you're overseas. And the best thing I think you should do, or anybody should do, is keep your mind working.
Yeah.
Keep your mind working on basketball, keep it working on finances, keep it working on just educating yourself in different things, because that's how you're gonna learn how to put your money in different places and make smart investments, so that when you're done playing basketball, you don't have to work a job.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter how much, it matters how much money you make, but you ain't gotta make millions and millions of dollars to not work after you're done playing basketball. You can make 6 figures, and if you put your money in smart investments while you overseas for those 10 years, you can come out and be great. You can come out and be great. Real estate's a great way to learn to put your money in places. So if you do that, you could be great. But
I felt like this year was probably the toughest year in terms of like the mental battle, because anywhere you go overseas, it doesn't matter what you like to do. You always get a type of mental release from basketball. You can, if you like clubbing, you go to club, go to a bar. You can go to a restaurant, go catch a little vibe. But now you're in a situation where for 8, 9, 10 months, you get no break from basketball. You go to basketball, come home, same thing over and over. You can't go out and do anything. So I felt like for me it was one of the hardest years where I had to lock in mentally all the way through. I didn't get any type of release. Even when I hang out with my teammates or family or whatever, it's still not the same of being able to switch up your environment and be able to take a little break and go back to it. You feel like it was like tough for you like that, or?
for me, it was tough for sure. Everything, when I first got there, everything was really shut down.
Yeah.
Actually, no, I'm sorry, no. It was open a little bit when I first got there. Restaurants, you could sit in them, you could eat in them, you can go to a couple bars here and there if you wanted to go out and stuff like that. So I was able to do that. And then it shut down, hard. It was okay, everything shut down, only food to go.
Yeah.
You can't even, all the bars, don't even think about it. Those are all shut down. So I was really just in my house, So it was really different. And, but I was able to get in the gym when I wanted to hoop and do my thing and release. So thank God for that. So.
Because I was in Belgium, I don't think anything didn't open up until May. Because where I was at, we had some of the worst numbers in Europe, I believe. Yeah. And we went through 2 lockdowns. Yeah. So that's when I kept getting nervous, because the whole year we're always whispering, wondering when the league gonna get shut down, this and that. So it did end up being one of my best years, basketball speaking. Yeah. But it'd be tough to deal with some more years like that for sure.
I definitely agree with that. I think this probably one of my best years hooping for basketball as well. So, do we thank the pandemic or not?
Yeah, no, I can't do the pandemic no more. Yeah. I'm tired.
Yeah, I mean, we go into games and there's not even no fans and no fans. You got to take, before every game, you got to take a COVID test. And it's not the American one where you do the mouth swab, or nose swab. They do it themselves in full protective gear, and they go into your brain.
I was getting my brain poked.
Yeah.
Twice a week. Every single week, no breaks.
I definitely got brain damage.
I think I just got an extra hole in my nose. I wouldn't wish that on anybody. I was definitely tired of that, but I mean, that comes with the sacrifice. Did you like playing with no fans?
It was different for me. So, the year before when I was in, where was I at? Well, I keep want to say I keep want to say Belgium now, but I wasn't in Belgium. Bulgaria. I was in Bulgaria. We had some good fans there, but it wasn't that many either. So for me to play in Italy and like see like previous pictures of them like packed house and then playing with no fans, it was completely different. So I liked it, but like every game felt like a scrimmage almost. Like I took it seriously, but I was like, I'm into the game, but I'm not like into it. Like if there was like a crowd like booing me, like that like gets you hyped. That like makes you like energized to want to take that shot, make that play. So it was cool. So
it was. I wouldn't say it was the worst,
Right.
Because I've been in some small places where we didn't have a lot of fans, but there's always been somebody at the game.
Right.
But it was I was just getting used to having a lot of fans because I was in Finland where the fan base there is crazy.
Right.
So all the games are packed. It don't matter what you do. You do a little light dunk, everybody's going crazy.
Right.
So, just I guess that came hand to hand with having to focus, be there mentally because now I got to bring my own energy.
Right.
Even as a team, all the momentum, everything is purely just basketball.
Right.
You're not like getting into it with the fans, this and that. All the fun little stuff that comes with it, all of that was gone. It was just straight hoops.
Right.
So it was different, but I definitely prefer to get back to the fans.
Most definitely.
definitely, yeah. So when you was over there, describe the culture, describe the food. How was it? Was it good? Was it fun? I know you were on lockdown a lot, so I know you didn't go out much, but how was the food culture?
The food was basically typical European food. A lot of meat, a lot of fried stuff.
Okay.
Belgian fries, Belgian waffles,
Okay.
Belgian beer. But I wouldn't say it was anything that was shocking or anything I wasn't used to.
Right.
One of the most shocking things for me is I had to learn how to drive stick.
Oof.
That was my first time ever. I wouldn't wish driving stick on anybody.
Right.
It took me about like 2 weeks to actually get it down.
Damn.
Actually, a funny story. This might have been the first time where I went on the road out by myself. I was driving down the street. I was trying to turn left to get into a parking lot, and I tried to turn, and the car stalled, and it stalled right in front of a bus lane.
Damn.
And I'm trying to get I'm trying to get up in the parking lot, and I just keep going because it's all about like pressure
Right.
and time, and I ain't got it. I got heavy feet, and like everybody looking at me stupid. And the bus driver actually got out the bus, hopped in my whip, and parked it for me. So I'm glad that people understand over there, and they a little bit nicer.
Right. Yeah.
So that was one of the things I had to deal with, and then I don't think I got it down until I had to go somewhere one day, and I had no excuse. I had to go,
Right.
and I was on the road for like 30, 40 minutes.
Right. And you got it.
Yeah, I finally got it. You
There you
just
go.
sometimes you got to just jump in the water.
Right.
You might drown a little bit, but
Right.
I found my way to the surface.
Right.
That was one of the biggest things for me, but everything else was good. I enjoyed the city, one of my favorite cities. How would you describe your situation?
Mine was good. It was, for me, it was Italy.
Yeah.
So like everyone talks about Italy pasta, man,
Yeah, you gonna-
pepperoni pizza, like the best, the fresh everything. At a beach house, I was chilling, but for me, the food was lacking flavor. Like I know it was fresh. I know
it was like.
Don't make the Italians
organic.
mad.
Yeah, I know. I don't want nobody.
Shout out all my Italians. We don't want no smoke.
Yeah.
shout out to Italians. What I'm saying? No smoke. We good with them. The food was good, but nothing's like home food. Nothing's like and when you're in Italy or when you're in certain places, it's like don't expect like food from outside of that, because like
You're Italian.
exactly expect Italian food 24/7.
You was out there looking for McDonald's.
I'm looking for McDonald's. I'm looking for some barbecue, anything. Yeah, something. Looking for some Mexican food for sure. So it was crazy to just like be like the first 2-3 months I was like, oh, this food's bomb, and then after that I'm like, I gotta start cooking. So I used to go to the grocery store. I used to make my own food, And the crazy thing about them is like, I found out that they don't even do like, what's it called? Like spaghetti and meatballs.
Yeah, I heard
That's
that.
not a thing.
It's not a thing.
It's not a thing.
Alfredo sauce not a thing either.
No,
To you,
Alfredo
I haven't seen that anywhere in Europe.
No Alfredo sauce. It's not a thing. That's an Americanized Italian dish, I guess.
Yeah.
So, but it was cool. The culture was dope. People were friendly. People would smile at you. It was a lot of sunny days. It was a lot of sunny days.
It looked nice.
Yeah.
You was posting on the ground. I seen you catching a little vibe out on the beach house.
Beach, yep. I was chilling, and I was able to go a few places. I was in Sicily. I went to Taormina, which is where one of my best friends is from, actually. So I was able to go to his old city, and just view that, go to different places, like on my off time and visit, because everything's really close. Everything's like 30 to hour drive. So I was able to explore a little bit, and, I was able to vibe out. But since we're on the topic of houses and stuff and living, our viewers should know that, like, not everything is equal. A lot of places, like if you play for low money, expect low money like living. Don't expect like glorious, like, don't expect a Range Rover. Don't be expecting all these perks and stuff that won't come with low money. You gotta expect that your housing might be okay. Everything's gonna be different because with the more money, the more money a team has, the more money they're gonna have for you to live good as well. If you're making like $2,300 a month or whatever, something like that, then your living's not gonna be as good. So I think a big thing that our viewers should know is expectations.
Sure.
You should expect if you sign up for low money, you gotta expect not the best living. You might be driving a hoopty, but if it gets you from A to B, then you're good. It's all about building your brand and building your game and improving your worth.
You gotta start from somewhere.
Yeah.
What was your when you first went overseas? What was your first job overseas?
It was Bulgaria.
Bulgaria, that was your first one?
Yeah, my first one.
Before you got there, when you said, okay, I'm gonna go to Bulgaria.
Right.
Bulgaria. What did you expect going overseas and being, because you started off in the G League, right? And so you're going to Bulgaria, so now you're officially becoming an overseas athlete.
Right.
So what was your mental expectation coming in as an overseas athlete? What did you expect versus what actually happened?
Right. So like you said, I started in the G League. So I was with Dallas. I was with the Texas Legends for 2 years. Awesome team, awesome program. I'm used to living. I had a fat apartment by myself with them. So I'm living good. I'm living in the city of Frisco. Everything's nice. So as soon as I signed to Bulgaria for overseas, I'm on Google. I'm Googling up, okay, what's it like? What's it look like? Even before I signed, I'm looking at it like, okay, how's it looking? How's everything? So, but the thing I found out my these past 2 years is that it's better. It looks better when you're there than when you're not. For me, from my personal experience, I don't know how everybody else is going to be, where everybody else is going to play at, but for me, it was when Bulgaria, when I looked online, I was like, oh my God, like, nah, this ain't it. This ain't it. But then when I got there, it was cool. It was a good vibe. Yeah. It was a small town. So it was chill. They had some good restaurants. It was more of a ski resort. Mm-hmm. So like they had like the mountains right there where you can go up and have like good food, and the currency was a lot cheaper. So I was able to eat good. I was able to eat good over there for sure. And then coming, yeah. And then when I came to Italy, I was surprised because when I looked online for Italy for where I was going to play at, I was like, this is like a fishing village. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, damn, like I don't see nothing, like it's not showing me nothing like crazy. Like, so but when I got there, it was dope. It was literally like a seaside village. So like everyone was chilling, everyone was cool. You got the food, all the food you wanted, clothing stores, everything. So it was cool to go.
Yeah, my very first job was in Malaysia. And
I went to Malaysia too.
You did? You played in the gym
really?
that my team was in, yeah. But I was doing the same thing,
right?
Cause my story is a little different. I did overseas, then I did G League, then back overseas. So, right. I have been mentally preparing already to go overseas. Right. But after when I graduated, the overseas offers weren't really coming in like I thought. So I had actually committed to play in the G League. I was going to play for. I had just worked out with the Celtics, and I was going to play with their G League team, the Maine Red Lobsters.
Red Lobsters, yeah.
And I have like verbally committed to them. But when I was actually in Boston on the way to my flight, my agent hits me like, "Yo, this team in Malaysia wants you." But it was Thursday, and they said, "But the catch is you gotta leave Friday."
Damn.
I'm like, man, I ain't even
The next day?
I ain't even got home yet. Now you want me to go to the other side of the world?
That's crazy.
So I had like thought about it, and I was like, nah, it's not enough money to just turn around and leave.
Right.
And then that's when I committed. When I got back home, and then I think maybe a few days later, my agent said, yeah, we switching up the numbers now. So now we start talking a little business, and like I came home that Thursday. Maybe that next Thursday, I was actually working out in the afternoon, like 6, 7 o'clock. My agent texted me like, "Yo, it's done. Like, let's go." And I had, but the same thing, I had to leave the next day. But at least I had a week.
Right, at least you had a week to do it.
So I had, like had been searching up, but I didn't search up as hard because that whole week I wasn't sure if I was going or not. So I'm in here, and I felt like everything I searched up was wrong. Like, I brought clothes for everything. I feel like I was good for packing in college because you know you going somewhere for a few days.
Right.
I'm like, well, how you pack for the other side of the world for 8 months? I don't know what I'm finna wear.
What do you pack?
I need fits.
Right. Exactly.
I don't know. I need this. I don't know. Do I need to bring a tuxedo?
Exactly.
So I end up packing everything.
Right.
And I end up being in a country where it don't drop below 80 degrees 24/7, literally.
Damn.
And it's just hot rain or the sun out.
Hey,
I was wearing nothing but flip-flops and shorts every day. Had all my sweatpants, all my hoodies, all of that was just catching dust.
Right. That's crazy.
So
That's
it was an interesting experience in the beginning of what to expect. What would you say to the young athletes, who are considering going overseas, what to really expect as players? Because Americans, we just different.
Right.
How we were brought up, we were different. A lot of us have been patted on the back.
Right.
Our whole lives. Somebody kissed our ass or whatever.
Right.
Even if you're not that kind of guy, you're just used to it.
Right.
And now you're in a situation where don't nobody care about you like that.
Right.
You a hooper. You came to go to work and that's it. But they don't care about what city you from, what you did in high school, that record you held. How you were a good player, a good locker room guy, your best friend. They don't care about none of that. They want you to come here and hoop. So,
most definitely.
What advice would you give to the young guys who can hoop? But, they don't really know what to expect, who think that they just going to come over here and, put up 40 a night,
right? Underestimating
the game.
So I would say for the young guys coming overseas to always, this is a job. Mm-hmm. This isn't a vacation. This isn't anything. And like a job, you can get cut.
Yeah.
You can lose your job. You can lose that contract. And overseas, you might sign a contract, but they might not pay you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I signed a contract, cool, cut me, whatever. You might not see that money for years or ever because you have to go through the court system. There's all kind of process you have to do when you owe money. So I would say you gotta be a professional and you gotta be an adult because if you're playing games, crying about this and that, they don't got time for that.
Yeah.
And like I said, especially after this year, a lot of people retire. So a lot of people are gonna be, on short fuses, especially as coaches. And depending on the coach you get, it could be even shorter fuse because there's some coaches out there that'll cuss you out in your face.
And Serbian coaches.
Yeah, shout out to Serbia.
No, for real.
But y'all do your thing. But there's coaches out there that'll really bring you down. They'll bring you down. But even when you're doing good, they'll bring you down.
Yeah.
You can do better. So you gotta have thick skin.
Yeah,
you gotta
for
have
sure.
Thick skin. You gotta know how to navigate on your own because some teams will help you navigate through airports and stuff and help you get this and that, and then some teams will just tell you like, hey, we'll be here, we'll have a car outside waiting for you, and you gotta get to the airports, you gotta read signs, you gotta do all kind of stuff that's just gonna be out of your element,
Yeah.
Because for me, transferring from playing in the United States to overseas, I had to learn like how everything works, how the process works. So I would say just maturity. You gotta be mature. You gotta come in with a positive attitude,
And you gotta know that you have to kill. You have to dominate because that's your job. That's what you're being paid for. You're there to help them win, and that helping means taking tough shots sometimes, taking criticism. So it's hard, and not everyone can do it. For sure. So.
Yeah, I would definitely say don't come over here thinking it's sweet.
Right. Right.
Y'all probably have heard other people say that, but listen to some guys that we ain't coming from the NBA. We ain't signed to whatever place for $1 million. We really got it out the mud right now.
Hey, hold on, quick thing. Hey, shout out Michael Flicks, man. Shout out Michael Flicks, man, for giving us his space, man. For giving us his space to preach, Shout out to Michael Flicks, man. He's a dude, man. He be helping me with a lot of stuff y'all don't even know about, man. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of stuff coming from him, a lot of stuff, a lot of great projects, man. Yeah.
But yeah, man, it's not sweet at all. It's hard work. This is a job. Basketball is a game, but now you working.
Right.
And if you're not doing your job, they will send you home.
Yep.
Even if you think you special, you could be special.
Could be.
They don't care. They don't care. I don't care how much you put up in college.
Don't care about your high school, your college stats. They don't care. They care about what you did overseas. They care about what you produce every year. You're only as good as your last year of basketball.
When it's not like in the NBA when they draft you,
Right.
They put you on a 4-year program.
Right.
Invest millions of dollars in you. That's why they like the kids young, because they say, okay, I'm going to get this 18, 19-year-old. He got 4 years to get acclimated to the game. If he not right by the 4th year, okay, then we can start talking.
Peace.
Here, and we playing overseas, they want immediate production. Immediate. That's what every team you play for, even if it's a low team, they want to come out and win games. They want to win a championship. So if you come out there BSing, you come out there out of shape on a team where they don't expect you to come out of shape, they gonna start looking at you weird, them first few games when you slowing down. You can only have so many bad games.
Right.
So if you coming out here thinking it's easy, thinking you're gonna come out here, put up 30 a night, I'm letting you know it's not that at all.
Right.
Especially in Asia, okay.
I would say.
Yeah, Asia is a little bit more free playing.
If you play in Asia, there's some teams that require you to score a certain amount of points, or you can get cut. So it's different markets for different areas, but Asia's serious basketball, but it's not like, I wouldn't say it's the same as European basketball at all.
Same skill level. Yeah. But in European basketball, it's definitely more structured, more systematic. If you can't fit into the system, you're not going to survive. If you're just thinking you're going to come in here and be one of these TikTok hoopers and come up here and dribble the ball 30 times, shoot the ball 25 times, you're going home.
Right.
You're going home. If you think, like I said, you're not going to average 30.
Right.
What, the EuroLeague leading scorer probably averaged, 20?
Maybe.
Or something?
I don't even think so.
And
yeah, maybe 20.
20 is very, very impressive.
Yeah, 20 is hard because also you're not going to be playing. The higher you go up, the more foreigners you have on your team. Mm-hmm. So the less minutes you're going to play, unless you're really that dude. So
you're going to split minutes, but it's all about coming in, being productive, sticking to your role.
Right.
So, I would say for all the young guys, humble yourself and figure out, exactly what it is that you're good at. And, try to be the best team player you can be. Because if you come out here as an individual, and unless your game is just next level, or you're supposed to be in the NBA, and nobody can touch you, which there are some guys like that, but even those guys sometimes you got to take a step down.
There's definitely some guys overseas that can play in the NBA. So there's a lot of guys overseas that can play in the NBA. So
the difference isn't that big, only with the superstars. But yeah, for the young guys, definitely humble yourself, definitely turn into a team player. Right. And you can have a very successful overseas career.
Most definitely. Yeah. Speak on that, man. It's just you just got to be able to just. I think it's also being humble, but I think it's just being able to take the heat. Yeah. You be able to take the fire because there's gonna be fire coming at you from your coach, from your fans, from your agent. So, and I would just say just take each day. So, yeah, man, for real. So I was going to ask you. I was going to say, so in your off time, what'd you do to keep your mind busy?
Man, it's funny talking about money. I got into stocks a little bit. I wouldn't say it took up all my off time, but I was thinking about doing stocks because all my friends back home were into it. And this summer, with COVID and everything going on, they in the group chat going crazy about stocks. Yo, get into this, get into that, hop on that. But I'm like, nah, my money not right. I can't do this or that.
Right.
I was like, I'm going to learn about it when I go overseas.
There you go.
I go overseas, all of my teammates are into stocks.
Right.
One got like 100 businesses doing all different type of other stuff. One's a Forex guy. Right. Another one, he's just deep into stocks, know everything.
Right.
And they talking about it every day. This was the first team where you ain't talking about the usual stuff, money, cars, girls, clothes.
Right.
They talking about
business.
they talking about business. They talking about houses. I'm talking about, we posted up after practice for hours talking about mortgages and stuff like that, like real grown man type conversation.
That's dope. That's
So this was like a big transition year.
Yeah.
So they finally forced me to get into stocks.
Right.
And just learning how to increase my money in other different ways.
Yeah.
And it's crazy all this happened with stocks this year with the AMC and the GameStop, because I wasn't even trying to be on any of that. I was trying to be for like the long term.
Right.
So it's been an interesting year, but I definitely got into that, and really I've been building up this podcast too, mentally.
There you go.
I had with all that downtime, I really wanted to build something, and I had just been asking all the time, like, man, should I do it? Should I do it?
Right.
So it's just funny how I kind of been preparing for this moment, and here we are.
Right.
Speaking on teammates, tell me how it was, communicating with them, because for my first team, it was hard to communicate with some of my teammates, because they didn't speak English a lot. But everywhere is different,
Yeah.
But this year, I had a lot of young guys on my team, so
They spoke English.
they spoke some pretty good English and stuff, and my coach spoke English. Tell me how big of an impact, if you've had one, like it is that your coach knows English, or if he doesn't, or if your teammates know English, like.
I've basically experienced everything. When I played in Venezuela, all Spanish. Coach spoke Spanish. The assistant coach, he spoke really, really bad English. So I got to learn the plays in Spanish.
Right.
I'm barely talking to the guys. I had a few Americans there, and I've been on teams like in Lithuania where I was the only American. The guys spoke English, but when everybody's around there, where they're local people, they're just gonna speak their language. So
Exactly.
it was kind of like you there with some guys, but you're alone because you just go to practice, and when the locker room talk happens, they talk in their language. I'm keeping to myself.
Keep it to yourself, yeah.
Yeah, and on this team this year,
Shout out that though, for real. Like, shout out being alone, understanding that
That's a
people,
whole different world.
that might be a whole different conversation to have. Just going overseas and knowing that you just can't communicate with people.
yeah,
It's hard. It's hard to communicate with people. They can talk your language, but they gonna talk their language,
Yeah.
to their teammates. So
It's-
that's something you gotta take in and stuff. And it's
Yeah.
if you have a bad game or something, how they ain't talking behind your back, stuff like
exactly,
that.
yeah.
Stuff that goes to your head, damn, are they talking crap behind our backs and stuff, or So
Yeah, and
it's
this year was probably the easiest year because everybody spoke English.
Right.
All the French guys, even if the English was a little iffy,
Right.
you can have a full conversation with everybody, and it improves the overall team morale when I could joke with guy number 1 through 12, and everybody understand what I'm saying, and
Right.
you just talk to your guys. I'm about to spend 10 months with you.
Right.
I want to go more than saying 2 words with you, and you understand what I'm saying. So yeah, it's we talk about being alone. That mental aspect.
Yeah.
How would you feel, being overseas, being in a whole different environment? How does that affect your mental to be able to do that and perform? Because I feel like growing up, playing basketball is easy because you're in a comfortable environment.
Right.
You're in a city where everybody speaks the same language. You can go anywhere down the street, find any kind of food that you're used to. Even if you end up playing out of state, going to prep school, whatever.
Right.
You're around a bunch of friends, speak English. You can call your family
Yep.
at any time, friends anytime. If you have a bad game, no matter what, everybody is always in the same kind of world as you.
Right.
So and then you go to college, you might be in a place where y'all turn up all the time. Y'all in a nice city.
Yeah.
You know, you might be going to school close to home. You got your car.
Yeah.
You got the girls. You got everything that makes playing basketball easier.
Yeah.
Now you're in a situation where you don't have anything. In some situations, you go in a place where you literally only have basketball.
Yeah.
Like you can't, even pre-COVID, I was in places where I couldn't go turn up nowhere. I got 3 restaurants to choose from. I'm in a town with 3,000 people. The next biggest city is 30 minutes away.
Yeah.
Like this place I still had no outlet, and I was still alone. So like, I don't know if you've been in that kind of situation, but how do you deal with, you know, being in a whole different scenario out your comfort zone and still being able to show up every day and perform?
Yeah, I mean, for me, it was mostly just keep my mind moving. And for me, keep my mind moving, it wasn't about basketball. So like on the court, I would do my thing, I would hoop, but I would keep myself occupied by researching stuff, learning different things, like you said, stocks. I was doing a lot of real estate understandings, you know, like learning real estate. I was learning how crypto, all different kind of finances work, so that I am not focused on basketball. Because sometimes when I think about basketball too much, like if I have a bad game, like it'll harp on me. Like I'd be like, damn, like I gotta have a bad game. Next game I gotta do so much better, but the next game might not be for, you know.
Yeah.
Thank God it was only 3-4 days away, but you know, even in that time, it's just hard. So, just for me, it's just different. It's just completely different. Like coming overseas, like a lot of people, like I said, it's hard to handle. Like you're so accustomed to having things not catered to you, but when you go overseas, the things home seem catered to you. You know, so being able to come overseas and just like understand, like you're on your own, like you gotta like try new food. You have to try new foods. You're gonna have to try different things that you're not accustomed to, and the things that you want that you used to be able to get ain't gonna be there. So to be able to just get through that and just like mentally is just it's not easy. It's really hard. It's really hard. And basketball and having your coach on you and stuff like that makes it even harder.
Yeah.
So I think a big thing that our viewers should know, and the youngsters coming overseas, or people who are just on the podcast just to watch it, should know that, like, I feel like having a coach, knowing your coach and trying to like build a relationship with him, even if just for that year, and just understand what kind of coach he is by asking your agent and stuff like that, can really help you out. Like, because if you don't have tough skin and they send you to Serbia, like, you're gonna want to come home like ASAP, and you know it's gonna be hard. So, because you signed that contract. You can't just go home sometimes unless you really just quit. And then if they do that, it'll look bad on your resume, you know, because then they'll say, oh, he just quit. He's a quitter.
Yeah.
Like, and then that'll hurt you for next season or something like that for another team. So you can't just quit. You got to be able to just push through the mental, be able to just stay focused. So for me, like I said, focus on other things other than basketball. Focus on making money, you know, focus on, you know, how you can not only make money for yourself, but for your family, you know. I mean, I think that's a big thing right there, is just focusing on, you're doing this for your family. I mean, I know for me, I know for you, it's about our family, it's about future family, everything.
That's
so
basically my motivation.
Right,
Because,
exactly.
you know, since my son been born, since my second year or so, my first year it was more, you know, I always loved basketball, still love it.
Right.
But it was more, you know, this is fun, let's see where this goes. But, you know, life happens quick.
Right.
So now it turned into, you know, I got to put food on the table.
Right.
So,
Right.
you know, I just, you know, for me, I just feel like I
And
just come out.
shout out to that. That's a different hunger right there.
Yeah.
Shout out to putting food on the table. That's
For
a
real.
different kind of hunger. When you playing like that, where you got to provide for someone. Because I feel like for me, this was my first year, like having to like I'm not playing for me no more.
Yeah.
Like I'm playing for my son,
Yeah.
and it's just like, oh, okay, like, and that can cause even more mental stress.
Yeah.
Like you
Definitely stress.
right.
The year my son was due to be born, I was in the G League. So I'm not really making any money.
Right.
Like on that year, I was just dealing with, you know, it was kind of weird because I felt like I was dealing with depression at the same time. But on the outside of basketball, life is good. I got a son on the way.
Right.
You know,
Right.
I'm bringing brand new life into the world. But then, it just turned into motivation. So, like, every year after that, it was like when I go on the court, I'm going to kill whoever in front of me because I'm trying to level up.
Right.
I'm trying to make more money, play on a bigger stage. I love competing, trying to win. And at the same time, I'm trying to provide for my family. You know what I mean? So, that's one thing that kind of helped me got through for sure.
I feel that.
So as far as making money for your family, like, how is it like? Do you have friends that be hitting you up talking about, hey, can you throw me some money here or there? Have you had that kind of experience yet?
I had that earlier.
Friends or family too. It could be anybody.
Yeah, I've had it earlier in my career. I've had some friends hit me up, but I've had like some close friends hit me up where he's like my best friends. So, it don't be nothing crazy.
Right.
And I'd be like, I got you.
Right.
Some even pay me back. Some I was like, nah, it's good. I love you, appreciate you, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
But
How do you separate those?
it just depends. Like I helped one of my friends with his career because, what he was doing, he needed money to get it started, this and that. So if you're doing something positive with it,
Right.
If I'm help paying a bill, I'm help taking care of something, that's going to make you more money.
Right.
Because, like, now, one of my friends, he's in a way better position than he was 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And I ain't saying it's because of me, but, when he first
I'm a
started.
part of it.
Yeah, when he first started off and he had nothing.
Right.
And, he needed resources. I was able to help be one of the resources. So, that's one of the investments I'm not mad at. Or,
Right.
if my friend, he need to help pay for this bill and he got me back when he get paid next month.
Right.
It's good.
Yeah.
And then I've had times where I've had friends that was in my outer circle. I've had a few hit me up. Nothing crazy, but I just be like, I ain't got it. Because either I didn't have it or I ain't really trying to give it to you.
Right.
I haven't been in a position financially where nobody asking for anything crazy.
Right.
For the majority of the time, though, if anybody's asking us out of line, I simply say no.
Right.
Nobody gonna squeeze out any money out of me that I don't want to give up.
Got you.
Yeah, for me, it's been kind of the same. I had people that I hoop with in the G League asking me for money. I was like, we making the same amount of money. You know what I'm saying? Like, well, basketball wise, we are. So, but I've always been a person just focused on just you gotta learn to say no, because my whole family's from Detroit, and we all know Detroit's a rough place to come up from, and you love it. It's hard to say no to your friends, but it's really hard to say no to family, and I've been blessed and fortunate. Shout out to Pop, shout out to Moms. They gave me motivation to be who I am today, to give me my grind and my passion, plus my son now. So it's all family that gives you that motivation, but it's the ones that, like, who do you say no to out of family? Who do you know who to trust? How do you know, like, you're gonna get your money back, or not so much get your money back, but how you know it's going to a good cause or this and that, So it's just a thing where you just gotta learn to just do your thing. Just learn to just be who you are. Just be truthful.
Yeah.
That's what I can say. Like, just be honest with them. Like, hey, like, honesty is the best thing.
Yeah.
So
I had a friend I played with in the G League, and he basically said anytime somebody would ask him for money, he would ask him, is this? He's like, are you sure? Like, is this worth our friendship? Because if you don't pay me back, it's gonna ruin our friendship.
Right.
So, are you sure? Are you really sure that you need this money for this situation? And that's definitely important because, one of the big misconceptions for people, they think just because you're playing overseas, you're rich.
Right.
But literally, the amount of money you can make, it can vary from...
It could vary from millions to
millions
1,500.
Yeah, 1,500. I know guys that was making 300-400 euros overseas a month.
Right.
And then I know guys making 300,000 a month, like
Euros.
Yeah, so
You don't know.
Yeah,
Euros is worth more than the US dollar.
way more.
I'll let you do the
Yeah.
math.
So
Crazy.
definitely a big misconception that a lot of people need to understand.
Right.
Just because a guy go overseas don't mean he got it. Just because he on the beaches of Italy, I ain't saying you broke, but just cause a guy on the beach in Italy, it don't mean that his pockets is extra fat.
Right, exactly.
You know, it's all part of the situation that he's in. Yeah. You know, y'all think, oh, he over there in Europe doing this or that, or shit, he went to go visit so and so, but it costs $30 for that flight from here to Greece,
right,
versus LA to Greece. Right. So, you know, it's a whole different experience.
A whole different vibe.
So, y'all definitely take note of that.
Yeah.
Shit, how you feeling?
I'm feeling good, man.
Good.
I'm trying to think what else we need to discuss, man, for the people, for the culture. Injuries. There we go.
Take care of your body.
Take care of your body. It's going to be completely different than in the States. They're going to give you the same treatment they gave everybody for every injury. It's going to be a little bit of cream, a little bit of, what's that tool?
Scrape tool.
Yeah, scrape tool. Yeah. No, the electro one. The stem. Yeah. They're going to give you stem, and that's going to be it. It's going to be completely different training. Like, that was probably one of my biggest things I saw in the G League. Like, G League, I had, like, a nutritionist. I had this and that. Shakes. I come over, shakes. Yeah, so for that, it's that. And then overseas, it's just going to be some stem, some stretching, and you on your own. So taking care of your body, taking care of your health is going to be huge.
Shout out Randy, our old state trainer. He used to tell us all the time, your body is your business. Your body's your business. Back then, it ain't really hit like that, because what business? You know, we ain't getting paid. We in college. We broke. Right. But now it's like, if your body don't work, you can't play. You know, if your leg hurt and you don't fix it, you can't play. Right. You can't play. You can't get paid. You can't get paid. You can't eat. You go back to the crib. So, you know, it's all about investing in your body. If you got to eat right, eat right. Everybody's different. You know, I know guys that, you know, could drink a bottle of Henny and go drop 40 the next night. Right. And then I know guys that, you know, they got to take a month off from drinking just to get right. So, you know, figure out what's good for you, but invest in things. You know, I started doing cryo a few years ago, cryotherapy. That was getting me right. You know, if you can't afford that, even though it's not that expensive, ice bath, ice from the store. Yeah. I still break down the ice, put it in a little grocery bag. Yeah. Ice all the time. Take care of your body. Stretch. I had an OG my rookie year. Every time I looked over, he was stretching. He'd take about 45 minutes to stretch. Right. He told me stretch at least 3 times a day. I'll try. It's tough, but
3 times a day, that's a lot.
But you know, all the stretching, all the little extra stuff I know it's tedious, it's boring. You know, it's not really the exciting part of basketball, but it's what maintains you. Right. You know, guys like Braun, you know, he on a whole different program, but
he's on the
he in year what?
He's on a billionaire program.
Yeah. But what he in year 18? Yeah. 18 doing what he doing. He's obviously a different specimen, but I guarantee he not just hooping and going home.
Yeah. He ain't just waking up and hopping on the court.
He doing the massages, the icing.
Got to.
He's sitting in the little egg pod, floating around. Yeah.
He wouldn't
looking like a newborn baby.
He wouldn't have made to year 18 if he wasn't doing that.
Yeah.
You know,
it's a lot of OGs playing overseas that take care of their bodies, sticking around.
There's people that are 40 years old playing basketball overseas right now in our divisions, in our leagues that are
producing too.
They ain't just sitting there riding the bench. They're producing because they take care of their body and they are prepared for basketball. So
I know when you're young, you think you gotta do one little stretch and you can go out there and windmill, and you can for your first few years. Right. But these games, they're gonna start adding up. Mm-hmm. You know, you're gonna start playing these 9, 10th month seasons. Right. And you know, by that 4th season, that knee gonna start feeling a little funky. Yeah. You know, you're gonna roll your ankles a few times, you ain't gonna be able to jump how you used to. And if you don't take care of it, you know, if you just try to walk it off, after a while, it's going to catch up to you. Yep. I promise you it will. Okay. Got to take care of your body for sure. That's one of the biggest things that I've been learning.
So I guess for our first podcast, that's what's going to be our focus on, taking care of your mental health and taking care of your body. Those 2 things have to be a must if you want to make it in this league and play long years, no matter if you're playing in the NBA or if you're playing overseas. Both places you can make millions of dollars in a year. So you just got to be able to just be mentally prepared and take care of your body.
Yeah. Before we wrap it up, throw you with a little quick sidewinder.
Yeah.
Share a crazy story you got overseas. Whether it be like a team did you dirty, some crazy culture experience you went through, something where you were just like, damn, like only overseas would this happen.
I mean, for me, we said earlier we wasn't talking about the cultural thing, but for me, it was an N word, saying the word nigga, saying the word nigga. So overseas, I feel like they don't understand what that means, and I wouldn't say this for another podcast or whatever. Break this down more for people, but if you're African American, don't expect like.
Did somebody call you that over there?
Yeah.
What was the story?
It was like they calling it, they singing it in the songs, they hear it, they don't understand, you know what I'm saying? Like they start drinking a little bit, they get comfortable, you know, stuff like that.
With somebody?
Yeah.
I guess it wasn't too nice.
It was informative.
Yeah.
We'll say that. It was an informative conversation. Like, hey, like you don't understand our culture, like you can't just go around saying that, but they don't understand because all they see is what we see. Like we learn from the movies about, or like music videos and stuff like that. We learn about other places in the world. We don't really, like for the majority of people in the world, we learn by visual stuff. We don't understand what it means and what it comes from and stuff like that. So for us, it was just like, I was like, whoa, like I had to take that back in my mind to be like, okay, like they don't understand that. Let me help them understand, or be like, I had two choices. I either let them do what they're doing because it's whatever, or be like, okay, like I need to inform them, like, hey, this isn't, you can't be saying that kind of stuff, like, and like they never said it out of like a negative or derogatory term, you know. It was never any disrespect. Let me say that. So it was just like you know, just trying to be funny or something like that, or trying to like sing songs, stuff like that, where I'm just like, you know, like, don't do it. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, just gotta shut it down, and then I don't know, all that. I'll say that for another podcast, I guess. Maybe go into further detail from where that word even stems from and everything. But I'll save that because I don't really like using that word anymore. I'm trying to get it out of my vocabulary because it's just there's no point to it. It's not helping nobody. It's not helping black culture, and black culture needs the most help right now. Yeah. So, yeah. What about you, man? You got any crazy stories?
Crazy story. Man, which one? This was my second year in Romania. First year in Europe. We were on a week-long road trip. We had just played in, I think, Denmark, and we were flying back, or we had a layover in Germany, and then from there we were flying back to Romania. Okay. So our layover, it was a few hours. It might have been like 3 or so. I get the little ticket, and you know it tells the time of the boarding. I think it said like 14 o'clock. The military time.
You gotta start counting your fingers.
Military time will mess you up if you're not used to it. Yeah. So I'm looking at 14 o'clock. I'm like, okay, I got till 4. Think it was like, I forgot what time. It might have been 12. I'm like, okay, I got till 4. I'm good. Like I'm guessing. So I literally, it's like a little rest area right by the gate, literally right next to the gate. Right. Like, but it has high walls, so like you can't see anything. So I go eat with a teammate,
and you can't understand what they saying on the mic when they talking about
your boarding flight.
I didn't hear it. Yeah. So I go sit down in the little rest area. My teammate sees me, little young dude, says what's up to me. So I know that he sees me. Says what's up to me. I go in my little pod. Right. I'm on my phone, earphones in. I'm like, I got time. I'm not really checking. Right. So I'm like, if something does go wrong, he gonna tap me. Right. You know, I'm thinking he see me, so he know he ain't gonna leave me.
He gonna shout out.
Yeah.
He gonna help you out.
So I don't even take a nap. Like I'm literally awake. So I'm chilling. Time flying by. He texts me like, hey. I'm like, why is he texting me? Right. And he's like, where are you? I'm like, you just see me. I'm right next to you. I've been here the whole time. He was like, I'm finna get on the plane. Damn. And you know, like on the European flights, you like go on a bus. Right. And then they drive you to the plane. So it ain't like you could just run in the plane right there. Right. So I guess the story was that everybody got on, and one group on one bus thought I was on the other one. So I ended up getting stuck there. But like he's walking on the plane, so I run right back up, and I tell him at the gate, like, yo, like I need to get on this flight. Like my team is My team is on the bus. I'm about to get on.
Right.
She being an asshole. She's like, well, you should have been paying attention. I can't help you. We can't send a bus back. The flight's not even close to taking off. She said, she's like, I cannot do it for you. So I'm cussing out the whole team. I'm like, I'm the only American on the team. I'm like, y'all ain't noticed the big black dude on the team?
The only American.
The only American, the big black dude.
The big black dude in the airport.
Y'all ain't go like this in the line when y'all waited and said, "Where's our only big black American at?" Nobody did that. I ended up having to stay there for 7-8 hours, paying for my own flight to get back to Romania. No reimbursement. $300-$400 out the drain off the river. I ain't even got paid yet. I had only been there for about 2.5 weeks.
Wow.
So I'm going off of, this is like savings money, G League money.
Right.
I fly into Romania late night. Don't talk to nobody. We had a game the next day. I don't talk to nobody.
Right. I want to say
All the way through the game, we end up beating the number one team in the game, and then I felt better after that. But I was
basketball be saving the
basketball.
If
but
I played basketball, I don't know where I'd be. I would have been snapped on somebody.
Man, I cussed out Eric. I was like, this is my fault for sure.
Right.
But that's when I learned, like, man, you can't trust anybody. You can't trust anybody to do anything for you. You can't trust anybody to hold your hand.
Right.
Because before that, I've been in situations where there is no way in hell one of your teammates gonna get left, unless I'm like on the other side of the airport.
Right.
But it ain't no way in other situations you ain't gonna at least peek or ask the guy, yo, you were just right there. So that's my crazy story.
Well, I think we good for the first podcast, man. Hey, shout out to all the viewers that's viewing this, man. We appreciate you taking your time out to watch.
Anybody who made it this far through, appreciate y'all listening. We got a lot more exciting content coming for y'all for sure.
Man, a lot more stuff to break down for you guys. If you guys have any questions or stuff that you guys want us to discuss, you can message us on Instagram. If you got our numbers, you can message us. This is the first of many. So, and we don't want you guys to think that it's just about basketball. We're gonna be breaking about topics about more finances, about different cultural things, about black culture, about different cultures in America as well. So this is just to get started, just to get our feet wet, just to, show what we do and help you guys to become better so you can make better decisions, along your path. So, yes, sir. What else you got to say, Sky?
Yeah. That's a wrap. Appreciate y'all for listening. Follow us on Instagram, Bucket Business Pod. We're going to have all our Instagrams below so y'all can follow us, man. Shout out Michael Flicks. Holding it down behind the camera.
Holding it down for sure.
Big time.
Follow him on Michael.
Came through with the short notice.
Short notice, very big time. Follow him on Instagram at michael.flicks. You can follow me at Xavier Johnson 2.
Follow me, Skylar Rigo.
Yes, sir. And appreciate y'all tuning in. We'll see y'all when we see y'all.
So we out.